Terry, were you surprised at all with just how crisp Steven Matz looked after that much time off?
Yeah, I really was. I mean, more than anything, Steve, it's about, if you're concerned about the command, it's just like when Noah was off and he had the shot, and you're concerned about, hey, how's it feel? Because if you ever have a sore arm, the release point's always an issue. But Steven came out and threw very well.
What have you seen him get better at as the year has gone on? It seems like each start he looks more and more confident.
Well, I'll tell you what he did tonight, and you saw it a couple times. He threw a pitch for a ball and come right back with it. Be it, if he threw a curveball or a change up or something, it was a ball. He wasn't afraid to double up, and that's pretty impressive when you got a young guy like that. So.
Especially given the first inning was a little rough for him. How badly did this team need a night like the one he gave you?
Well, we needed it bad. We were really short in the pen. We had Henderson and Robles and Familia and Reed, and that was it. So we needed somebody to give us 6 innings, and he gave us more than that. It was a tremendous outing. And matter of fact, we're thinking about giving Harv a shot tomorrow just for the hell of it. Seems to be working. So.
Terry, it seemed like his pace, the pace he kept up in the game, was exactly what you want to see from a pitcher. He looked as comfortable as could be. Is that how it seemed?
Well, he does that, and I'll tell you, that is something. If you've got a young player who's a pitcher, you got to get him to get on the mound like Steven Matz. He gets the ball and he gets on the mound. He makes a pitch, he leaves a ball out over the plate to Carter, and he gets right back on the mound, gets the ball, and gets back on the mound, and throws the next pitch. His pace is really, really impressive.
Terry, I'm not sure if it was the time off or just the faith in the bullpen, but the thought of having Matz come out after 88 pitches, I wasn't sure what the mean for that was.
Well, he just came off a bad elbow.
Right.
That would be the first explanation. The second is because he's coming off a bad elbow, he's going to start in 4 more days. So we said 95 was going to be max, so 88. I didn't want to start him, have the first hitter have a 10 or 11 pitch at bat. So that was the theory behind it.
Terry, how difficult do you think it is for a guy like that to do what he did, regardless of whether he saw 19,000 doctors and had 18 MRIs and they all came back clean, just to mentally get past that and say, I'm going to go out and let it loose and achieve what he did?
That's a great question. And one of the things, any of these guys, if you're a young pitcher and you've had an injury like Steven has, he's had a couple of them, and all of a sudden he has discomfort, panic sets in. Well, what is it now? So when just the peace of mind relaxes you enough to, hey, look, I can let it go. It's nothing serious, especially when it was so similar to what Noah had. And Noah went in, he had his injection, came out the next start and threw 100. So, the next guy hasn't said, well, geez, I got the same thing. I guess I can let it go, too. So I think it's tremendous peace of mind for them to know that.
Terry, how would you categorize his deception in his motion and everything like that?
For me, Kevin, he's like one of those great pro golfers. Their swing's so nice and easy, and yet they hit it so far. That's what his is. His delivery is so easy. He doesn't really force things. He just has good arm speed, and he has a great hand. Ball really comes out of his hand well. You're looking at somebody at 93 to 95, and gosh, he lets it go, and you're shocked when you look up there and you see the velocity. So I think that's his nice smooth delivery. I think is somewhat deceptive.
Sorry, we didn't get a chance to ask you because we were asking so much about Matt before the game. But Lucas going to the 6th hole, was there anything to that?
Well, his back's been bothering him a little bit,
yeah.
And I was just concerned that might be affecting his swing a little bit. So I thought I'd flip him and maybe keep him a chance to get another right-handed hitter in between he and the other lefty, so he would see maybe more right-handed pitching. So that was the other theory.
Terry, did that shakeup also have anything to do with just getting the bats alive? Because besides the 6th inning, another kind of quiet night for the bats.
Yeah, that's very true. We're trying to come up with something to get those bats going. One of the things we haven't done, it's been tough to get the leadoff guy on and get him moving. Yoenis got on a couple of times, and you looked up, and he's still standing at first base. So we've got to somehow, do something to shake this thing up and to get the offense going.
Terry, a lot of young pitchers, they go 0-2, and they start nibbling a little bit, either up, down, or around. Matz, for a young pitcher, he seems to make his best pitch on 0-2. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, he gave up a leadoff hit on an 0-2 count. So, the one thing I think 0-2, Rich, I'm not saying you have to waste a pitch, but you can't be a good enough pitch that they can take a good swing at, for me. We've been, I think Dan and I were talking yesterday after, Matt gave up the 0-2 home run, is that, we've got to start doing a better job making pitches 0-2. And, yeah, there's nothing wrong with staying around the zone, but, when you got a hitter who's going to protect like Murph or like VR tonight, hey, look, don't be afraid to, nibble on the corner. And if you miss, you miss. But to give up, get something on the plate where they can really do some damage is something that's hurt us. So, but I do like the fact that, he stays around the zone. He's got great confidence in what he's doing out there. That's why everybody said that's ever had him. This kid's got a chance to be as good as anybody because of his stuff and his command and his confidence. But, if his health stays good, he's going to win a lot of games.
Terry, Conforto's obviously had a lot of success since he's come up. What did you see from him, though, in the past couple of weeks when he was kind of slowing down after that huge start in April?
Well, first of all, you can't ever expect anybody to keep that pace up like that. So there's going to be ups and downs. But what you saw tonight is what I hope I see, and that is the fact that he uses the field. If you remember last year when he hit homers, he hit a lot of them to left field. And in the first 2 weeks, he was hitting a lot of them to right field. And I think, once again, when you get into the situation where you think you've got to hit home runs, all of a sudden the pull thought just comes in your head. And his swing just all of a sudden he was trying to turn on balls instead of just putting good swings on them.
To that end, Terry, that pitch by Peralta, it looked like a pretty good pitch that was sinking out of the zone away. The fact that he took it and drove it the opposite way over the wall, is that as good a sign as any that he's coming out of it?
Yeah, that's what I think, because I see when he starts hitting the ball the other way, he got the base hit to left center. When he starts hitting the ball the other way, it means you're seeing the ball, you're seeing it longer, and it gives you a better chance to make contact.
Terry, to get back to the batters, you said you got to do something to get this team going. Do you have any idea what that something could be?
It was the same thing I thought when we were here in the initial homestand, and it is keep running them in there. Keep putting them in there, keep working on in the batting practices, keep talking about, our philosophies, keep pressing the point that you've got to get good pitches to hit, not to, don't expand the zone. All the things we talk about, we've got to get it started. And, obviously it starts, Curtis was so dynamic last year, and I've told everybody, I've told him, I mean, we got to where we were because Curtis Granderson was a huge part of getting on base all the time, not just home runs, but his walks, his base on balls, and we got to get him started back on that because for me, if he gets on base, we score runs and we win games. So we've got to get him going.